is the most misunderstood thing about women is that we are controlling, we are angry, we are just misunderstood, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the reason why is because women have had to be strong for so long that that becomes intimidating to the male gender. And so that's what I believe is one of the most misunderstood things about women is that really recognizing that our strength is really who God made us to be. If you really search out in the scripture the role of the woman, we are to do just what we do, but just what we do.
Mhm.
And so I think that would be my take on it.
Okay. All right. Sharon, you have an answer?
Okay, so I'm going to piggyback on Dr. Carla. So I was going to say the misconception is that we're super women, independent women. Like you said, we're not always controlling. We don't always want to be the head, but the way that the things that we have encountered, it made us have to take on that role. But an independent woman don't always want to be independent. I'm going to speak for myself. Sometimes I want to be the co-pilot. Sometimes I want to be in the back. Sometimes I don't want to have to think all the time. I want a person that can take control and lead me and not be fearful that he's going to lead me off the cliff.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. So on your answers, we can start with Aqua Funk. You heard the question, so do you have an
Yeah.
answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, I got an answer for that. I wish I could comment on what these ladies just said because those were very good comments. Because as they talking, I'm thinking about my old lady right now. You know what I mean? As they talking, I'm looking at her. But for me,
You can
for
comment on it. It's
for
something.
me, so I agree with both of them. Doctor, I forgot your name, Doctor
Carla.
Carla. I definitely agree with you, but not for myself. I really like strong women. So, but I do see guys like having trouble with strong women a lot. But I'm like, that's a turn on for me. But me personally, what I found, I feel like women definitely get wrong about me on a regular is whenever there is an issue that they find, what's the word I'm looking for, important or serious or something like that, and they bring it to my attention, they mistake my quietness for not engaging. I'm thinking about it. It's just I don't necessarily always gotta have something to say all the damn time about it. So they think I'm not there. I'm not present. I am. I just don't want to talk all the time. You know what I mean? So they mistake me for being like, unengaging. That's just me though. That's the biggest thing I've seen in my life with women is they're like, you don't care. I care. I just don't want to talk about it all the time.
Oh wow. Walt talks.
I also agree with Dr. Carla and Sharon. To Sharon's point, I get it, and I've always said, the tough cookie always crumbles. You know what I mean? So if you don't have room to give, you'll crumble. So under pressure, I get that you don't want to be at the head all the time. I get that 100%. Dr. Carla, you were right on. As far as us being misunderstood as men, I think we get a bad rap of not being communicators. I
Yes.
think I think I think
Yeah.
sometimes, watch what you ask me because you might not want to hear it, but
Mhm.
just because you don't want to hear my answer doesn't mean that it's not at least my truth or the
Mhm.
facts.
Yeah.
Also, we get accused for not listening
Mhm.
when I'm speaking in generalities here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also speaking for myself. So uh you got to think about how a person is trained, how they have lived their lives. So things need to make sense to men. So when we ask you questions, we're not questioning you as much as we're just trying to make it make sense because I get you telling us this story because you want us to hear this story, But we are by nature, we're still trying to solve this puzzle or trying to get your perspective or figure out why someone would come to you in such a manner, you know. So being poor communicators, I think, is the biggest misnomer as far as men. And we're gonna get deep into all of this, I'm sure. But I think that's probably the one thing that comes to mind. You know, as far as the angry black or the angry woman, I get it, but also I understand we always hurt the ones we love. We always, you know, we take our frustrations out on the people closest to us, you know, because you can't go in the boardroom and say things that you want to say. So sometimes you got to come home and slam the door, and we just got to take it. So I get it. So that's my response to that.
For those that are in the chat, and I know that they're dropping all kinds of stuff right now.
Man, I'm
So
sure the church is on
Brian
fire.
Diggs said effective communication, and that's a big one right there. Teron Jackson made the comment, some things are better left unsaid. So which, you know, Aquafunk is sometimes you just don't say it. And then there's some other things going on. And I'm still reading and deciphering some. So but thank you for your answers. For those who don't know, for this, and if you might have missed it, I am just a referee. I'm reading the question. I have no input in any of these discussions, but I'm listening from both sides. And I'm listening to learn. I'm listening to learn and to grow as well. So,
but we know whose side you really on, though.
Well, his name. Well, let's get this out the way right now. His name is Big Jack, but tonight is Scared Fred. So I got you, man. Don't worry about it. I got you, man. We're not gonna put you under no pressure, man. Don't worry about a thing.
Don't put yourself in a position to get hit with a strike.
I explain. Let me understand. At no time is the champ in trouble. So just understand.
To the point that my uncle out there now, Frederick Jackson, is out there talking about you scared.
Thank you, Uncle Fred. Thank you, Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred said we scared. I'm not scared. I'm just trying not to make it uneven and like we're picking on or whatever. But,
I don't know about that. You left Walt out there to have to dry though.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I can handle it, man. I'm okay.
Yeah, I got you.
I like the third rail, man. Is fun, man. It's nice and warm, you know, on the third rail.
I got you.
Yeah, I like
Chris,
the third
Chris
rail.
the Flash is just in, and thanks, Chris, for being here. Key M. Rich, and thank you there, everybody that's popping in. So Frederick Jackson, again, we recognize you and thank you for being here. Here's another question, if y'all ready. If you had to switch roles with the opposite gender for one day, what would be the first thing you try? So if you had to switch roles with the opposite gender for one day, what is the first thing you would try?
See that okay, look, so I read your questions and that one stumped me because I enjoy being a man. I love it. Like I would never want to be anything else.
I got you.
But I have to admit, if I could be a woman for one day, I would see how much free stuff I can get from men. Because I'll be watching these suckers just give it. You know what I mean? I would be like, I wonder, like, I've never had that. I've always had to work for it real, but I see some of these young girls out there and they know what they're doing and they find the right one. And this poor dude just handing everything over. I'll be like, man, I would love to do that one day.
We get houses.
I would love to do that one day. I ain't gonna lie. That's one thing I would love to do. I know it'd be wrong. You know what I mean? But I would try it.
Okay. All right. Hey, I got you. Anyone else want to jump on this one? I know this is off the wall one. Go ahead, Paul.
If I woke up as a woman, is what you're telling me.
Right.
I'd give a master class. I'd give a master class on men. That's what I would give.
Oh, okay.
Starting off with accountability and respect. That's what I would do. Because men are pretty simple creatures, right? Now, in the barbershop, guys will say is food, sex, money, the remote control, and you got your man all figured out, right? But respect and accountability, I think, especially as I get older, respect and accountability are probably the two biggest things for me because everything else can take care of itself. But I would give a master class on the importance of that. And what you think is harmless, what you think is a harmless statement, how detrimental it can be. And here's the thing, you won't even know it Because once you weaponize information that a man is giving you, or a man has shared something with you, and you weaponize that, you'll never get him back. He's gone in other direction, and you'll never know about it. You'll just be put over there somewhere.
Oh, wow.
So
I think my old lady do know it. She know it.
Oh, yeah.
She know it.
Oh,
That's
She know. She know them terms. She know. My old lady do.
I don't have to say so. I'm the referee. And
Hey, man, you can jump in, man. Say something, man.
Oh, no.
It's like double dutch, man. Jump on in there, man.
I never was able to play double dutch.
That's why I know you stumbling.
Sharon, you got anything for us?
You know,
Well, wait a minute, before you even start, you know Beyonce had a song for that, right? If I was a boy,
that was I'm not a huge Beyonce fan, but I
it's
have.
okay. She out of Texas. That's why I threw it out there.
Whoa. Can you say that and live in Texas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, I stand on business. I'm not like a Bill over there scared.
Oh, but you're really a Commanders fan and not a Cowboys fan, is what you're telling me.
I'm not be a Cowboys fan, but I'm a bit
I'm
Eagles.
just saying, man. Eagles fan. That's right.
I'm gonna let you answer the question. I will apologize. Go ahead.
I don't know. I love being a woman. I have no desire to be a man. I wouldn't even know the first thing. I don't know how to answer that. I don't.
Okay.
But you know, I love being a woman. You know, like Aqua Funk. Is that how you say that? Funk?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love getting free stuff. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I love it over here.
You ain't say it wasn't true.
Hey,
Don't lie.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous is what it is. I'm jealous.
Right.
Don't hate the player, hate the guy. You know, hey, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
It's all good. Dr. Carla, are we okay over here?
Look, I love being a woman. I am even with, everything in my life being the way I am. I love the femininity of a woman,
So do I.
and I have, as in the church, a lot of times you have women that are apostles and prophets, and they have like this side with them, they lose the femininity, and I have tried to hold on and keep mine, and I wear it well. So I don't know, but I kind of feel like what Walt Talk said was really something that I would consider. Like, if I had to, I would help women to understand men, because we really don't. Y'all think y'all simple and easy to understand, but for us, you're not. It's like there's a book, I think it's called Spaghetti and Noodles or something. Like men are like noodles, and so that's what I think I would do too. I would do my best to help women to understand men so that we could have better, healthier relationships, just in general, as men and women, not to mention, as friends and as husbands and wives. Because we need to bridge that gap. And one of the things Aqua Funk talked about in his last question is the communication piece. I think Walt talked about it too. Like when and I'm just gonna throw this out there if it's all right. When we haven't seen our man all day, and then we see you, like, we want to talk. We want to kiss. We want to hug. We want to talk. We want to hear you. We want you to hear us. We want to be seen. And so when you say to us, well, I don't have nothing to say to that. I'm just, you sent an entire message that you didn't even mean to send, because our desire to have that conversation, that connection with our male partner.
Do y'all?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just to piggyback on Dr. Carla, I think that's why a lot of relationships don't work today, is because we don't have that communication. We don't understand each other. when you're in a relationship, and like Dr. Carla said, when we come home, we want to talk, but there have to be boundaries, because when you're out in the world, you're dealing with whatever it is outside. Sometimes you want to come home, and in your home, that's your place of peace.
Right.
You want to be able to gather yourself, and not as soon as you walk through the door, rah, 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 rah. Hey, let me decompress. Let me get me a drink. Let me calm down, because I don't want to be like Aqua Funk and give the wrong impression that I don't care. Right now, I'm shutting down. I don't want to think at the moment.
Right. So let me ask you ladies this. So I love great conversation. Let's start with that. I love great conversations, but what I don't like is small talk. I'm not big on small talk.
Okay. Yes.
So if we're having a conversation, let's have a conversation. And it needs to make sense. When I say it needs to make sense, I need to have an understanding, because for me to understand where you're coming from, I have to ask certain questions, because you're telling me from your perspective. So it's like someone cutting you off in traffic. It has nothing to do with you. They're trying to get to where they're trying to go. So when I start, and I'm not saying me, but when you start having these conversations, are you really looking for him to have a conversation, or do you need to download your day? That's a different conversation. That's different, because if he's attentive, if he has an attentive ear and he's paying attention, and you start giving your perspective, and he's looking at it from the other side, he's trying to help you get to where, okay, well, maybe this happened. And then, I mean, I'm married 30 years, so I'm good. But, you have these conversations, and it's like, well, whose side are you on? I mean, wait a minute. Are we talking about what's really happening, or are you just trying to, so that's a different conversation. And it's even in situations where I can't have a conversation with somebody who won't look at it from the other side, because you're just trying to win an argument.
Yeah.
So in my mind, and that's where the fun starts, if it doesn't bring me peace, if it doesn't bring me, if it doesn't serve a purpose, or doesn't bring me prosperity, I don't waste my time with it. Now, when you're in a relationship, you can't just walk away from everything, but these things should be established before you get into a relationship. Okay, like you like to talk, I like to talk, or I don't like to talk, or you just commuted an hour in traffic. I get it. But when we're having a conversation, you don't get to have a conversation and then tell people how to respond to your conversation. And I'm saying that goes for men and women. And and trust me, I know it may come off harsh, but it's all love when I'm saying it. It's because we're not talking about what you think we're talking about. It's like their Monday staff meeting where nobody brings it up, the real issue, until they walk out the room. And then it's like, oh yeah, I would have done this, I would have said this, I would have said that. And then the male or the guy or the lady gets on the phone with their friends and has a real conversation about what really happened. But I can tell you giving me stuff, you missing some pieces here. Something, wait a minute, we're here, how do we get over there? What about this? Oh yeah, well, no, that's very important. Because how did we get to, what happened to B? How do we get to B before we jump to C? How do we get to that? And sometimes that's, people feel like women would have, just friends have told me, I feel like I'm being interrogated, but you're not making sense.
Yeah.
It's defying logic. It's not, maybe I'm just don't comprehend. Well, you got to have that conversation with your mate, your friend, whoever you're dealing with, the opposite sex. You got to have that conversation, like a barbershop talking, a beauty shop talking, two totally different talks. Right or wrong?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I've never been in a barbershop, so
You ought to try it. You ought to do it. Hey, Dr. Carla, you need to go. And if you feel uncomfortable, just take your nephew. Hey, you know what? I come down Florida. You can take me to the barbershop. We be in and out.
So,
but that's what it is. Go ahead, Aqua Funk.
I get what you're saying, because that is a well. First of all, I got one thing to say. Walt, what's going on with you and your job? Because I've heard a couple times about you in meetings in your job. I listen to this. You seem to always be like, you use your meetings as like what if I said this? It's just funny.
So if I'm in the street, somebody calls 911, and I've been retired 11 years. Let's start with that. But this is who I am. This is how I've been trained. You call 911, I show up. I don't judge you. You got an emergency. Whether we think it's an emergency or not, it's your emergency. You call 911, we're going to solve your problem. We're going to get you the
I
help
got
you
you.
need. We're going to
Nah,
get you the resources you need. So that makes perfectly good sense to me.
yeah.
I'm expecting you to be irrational.
No,
Okay.
I got what you're saying. I just noticed that.
Let me say this. But then when I
Yeah,
show
yeah.
up and I go to an administrative assignment, and I'm sitting in the meeting on Monday, and I'm a DC resident too. So the stuff that y'all are saying is going to affect me as an employee and as a resident.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around the table, and not too many people even live in this city. And I'm saying, wait a minute, that makes no sense. You know, so I have to ask these. So you ask these questions, and then
I agree 100%. I was just
What the
saying.
question was, well,
Huh?
I agree 100%. I was just saying that I'm from listening to all these live streams, you use your meetings as a
But-
example a lot. No, but I rock with you.
But
I
the
rock with
Monday
you.
meeting is a metaphor for
Yeah,
the elephant in the room, and nobody wants to talk about
I
the
got
elephant
you.
in the room. But then they get out
Yeah.
the room, and everybody, oh yeah, I would have done this, I would have said this, and
Yeah.
then you meet about the same thing 2 weeks later
No,
because
you're right.
nobody's having a conversation
So-
about what's really going on.
So,
That's the part
gentlemen,
that just drives me
gentlemen, I'm gonna have to call
Okay,
time out.
time out.
look,
Because
y'all done got me all in the middle of the street. I forgot what the topic was. I forgot where we were going.
so it's all
That's
good.
what
It's all
it's
good. That's why we're going to the third
Right,
question.
okay.
It's all good. But I appreciate it. And then look, I appreciate it. One, you can't reverse, but the big thing is we did learn out of that one is communication is definitely
Communication.
key ingredient. So I thank y'all for that. And even like you say, flopping sides. And when I even came up with the question, and my answer was way off base. So I'm like, wow, I'm glad to hear what I had to say because communicating and passing the message on is this is what a man and a woman, I would have not probably went that direction. So thank y'all for that. We're gonna take a quick break. I gotta hit this promo, and then we're gonna come right back and we're gonna hit that third question. So give me 1 second to drop this quick promo, and then we'll hit that. I apologize, but we'll get that out there for you. It's only 30 seconds, so we'll be right back.
All right.
Get ready for the ultimate live experience. Join us on stage where music, poetry, and comedy collide in a night to remember. Top musicians, spoken word artists, and comedians come together for a unique and unforgettable show. From soulful melodies to side-splitting jokes, this jam-packed event has it all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we bring you the best of the best in this one-of-a-kind performance. Are you ready for the next We Be Jammin' Live?
All right, welcome back to the Iron Shop and Iron Show. Your man Big Jack. We got the battle of the sexes going on right now, but you just saw the promo for the We Be Jammin' Live. We're right there. It's this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We got some new artists we're going to be putting on the stage, new comedians, and we're going to have a good time. So hopefully y'all can tune in and have some fun with us and jam out with us for the We Be Jammin' Live Saturday the 28th, I believe it is. So Saturday 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time is when we'll be having the next We Be Jammin' Live. So give me 1 second for the next question. Okay. So here's a question for y'all. Okay. And I'm gonna start with Dr. Carla on this one. So what's something men and women secretly do for love? So if you're a man or you're a woman, so Dr. Carla, what is something men, women secretly do for love but rarely admit it? So you secretly do it for love, but you don't admit that you're doing it, or you rarely admit it.
What first comes to mind is everything. Okay. Women will do everything for love and anything. I really believe that we sacrifice a lot more than we're willing to admit for love.
Okay, I like that. Sharon, I got Sharon.
Well, you sure want to fight. I'm at the fight.
But his mother has the same name.
You got the same. That's why I can't say it.
Oh, there you go.
It's like what it come off my tongue.
Oh my goodness!
It's like saying my mom, man. I can't. She has never been called by me. It's
Sharon. Absolutely.
It's like it won't come out.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
I get it.
Sharon, what you got?
Again, I'm gonna have to piggyback on Dr. Carla. We give up everything in the name of love, but I can only speak for myself. The fact that I'm very independent and I'm always out front for love, I would take the back seat and not lead. I would let the man lead me. And some people may look as that being too submissive or whatever. But being in love with an individual, I wouldn't have a problem with letting the man lead. And some women don't want to admit that they are willing to be submissive for the man that they love. Who would be?
Gotcha. Wow. Walt Talks. What you guys say?
I just think, man, just trying to let the music play. Like, if I see that this thing is going in a direction that I don't agree with, just let the music play. Let's dance and see what happens, you know? And then it's funny, because then if you don't say I told you so, you're not going to say anything, but just kind of let it play. Let people first. One of my favorite books is the book Let Them. Just let people be who they're going to be, say what they want to say, do what they prefer to do. And then as an individual, you have to decide how that's going to, how you're going to deal with that. So if I would say anything that I would secretly do is that I work on in my own relationship, in my relationships with my wife, as well as women that are friends, let them. If I don't, it's like the kid, man. If, I'm not going to necessarily let my grandkids stick the fork in the light socket, but I'm going to let them get as close as possible without bringing harm to themselves. And then I may learn something in the process, because I know a way, but I don't necessarily know the way.
Right.
So that's probably the one thing that I make a conscious effort to do is that. If it's not going to kill me, it ain't illegal, it ain't immoral, and I ain't going to gain 20 pounds. All right, let's do it. What's that?
Okay. Aqua Funk, anything for this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of on what Walt's saying, but with me, it's a little. I'm naturally argumentative. That's just. But I will shut up in the name of love. I will shut up, especially when. I mean, sometimes, she dead wrong. She's just dead wrong. But I start weighing, I'll be like, does it really matter? Does it really matter to me? And I'll just be like, all right.
Peace.
Okay. Just to get past that, I will shut up and take the L and let her have that. That's probably the biggest thing I do for love. Right. Is just shut up.
Nah, that's what's up.
Would you scream and say, I told you so, if she mess up?
I want to. It be burning inside me, and sometimes it slip out. But I don't. I want to, but I don't.
Now, Mama Jack in the chat, that Sharon Jackson says, "I told you so" is not always the best response. So
no, it's not.
I told you so is not always the best response.
But it feels good though.
It could maybe, and like I say, it's off. It got off my. It's off my chest now, but it wasn't worth it.
First of all, I don't negotiate with terrorists. Let's start with that. I do not negotiate with terrorists. So, so hey, look, the happy wife, happy life thing is I don't negotiate with terrorists. So we two grown folks. I don't necessarily have to say I told you. So, matter of fact, it's gonna hurt you more if I don't say it, and you know it. I just say, hey man. I'm disappointed.
No, look, you know what? And like I say, it's not needed. Like I say, y'all had some good answers. I appreciate that. So another question I'm going to throw out there: who do you think handles stress better, men or women?
Women.
Okay, wait a minute. Since you started, Sharon, you're saying women, but now here comes the other part of that. Why? Why do you think women handle stress better?
Because it goes back to the first question that we had. We are trained to be super women. We carry a child for 9 months. We're business women. We have to run the boardroom. We come home and run the household. if the man is down on one knee and he can't move, who has to pick it up? We as women. We can handle all that because we were mentally trained to handle it. If y'all got pregnant, y'all would not be able to handle carrying the baby for 9 months. You would not. Y'all would break. If y'all had a menstrual cycle every month, y'all would not be able to handle that. Y'all would mentally break down.
We would ask God, why did you bite the apple? And we're having a menstrual cycle. We would ask God, hey man, why are you punishing us when you know she wasn't being there? Here we go with this accountability piece again. You know she walked me down this path of self-destruction, and you told me to just kind of do the right thing and for love, and just kind of like let it go and let it dance. And now she wants to tell me, well, we can't handle it. My argument, I don't disagree with you. I was raised by my mother. My mother raised me, so I've seen women do incredible things. But this is why, just let me give you the other side of that. You're 100% right. Women do a lot. And this is a good problem, because there was a time when you weren't even allowed to go work, vote, or do anything, right? So and that wasn't too long ago. So, but the part I have to say is this: men, every day, we live our lives just left of bang. Just left of bang. I mean, like right here. I mean, like, we understand if Aquafunk and I get in a conversation, we understand that there's a line that we can't cross, because this thing could go to violence immediately. Cemetery or penitentiary immediately. So we have to govern ourselves accordingly a lot, so we don't go off the rails. So I'm not calling women emotional. I'm not saying men aren't emotional. I'm just saying that as men, we understand there's consequences. So when you talk about being stressful, to just want to sit there and just sometimes you just want to grab somebody and choke the mess out of them, knowing that you can't, because you do have a family to take care of, you do have a family to support, you do need your job, you need your retirement or whatever. You know, every time somebody blows the horn at you, like if a woman comes past me with a glitter on her steering wheel, I just let her go wherever she wants to go, because I know and I got a minivan too, so let's get that out the way. If I see a woman in a minivan with glitter on the steering wheel, she's got pickups, drop-offs, the whole 9 yards. I know she's stressing. She's under a lot of stress. So I think women handle stress beautifully, but men also, we got to compartmentalize that stress. So that's why men don't live as long as women, because we do live under that stress, and we don't always get to bring that stress out or deal with that stress and just act on that stress. Sometimes we got to compartmentalize it, so we don't end up in the penitentiary or the cemetery. So it's not an either or, but I think it's an and also, and for different reasons. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think too. I kind of agree with both of you, because I feel like as women, we do handle a lot of stress, but eventually that stress does more to us emotionally and mentally and physically. Whereas I feel like men handle more stress a little better than we do, because you all can find a release though. You can find that release if you want that release. It may be through golf, like you said, it may be through, going to shoot hoop, whatever. But it's like y'all carry that because of the strength that you carry as men, and that's what you were intended to do. So I feel like, both of you are right. But I do believe y'all do better with stress than we do after a period of time.
They did make a show called Snapped about men.
Right.
Because you even with women, it's like when you doing these things, like you say, you're a superwoman. But if you're doing these superwoman things and you're regretting having to do them the whole time, and then the moment somebody comes home and doesn't wipe the counter off or leaves the toilet seat up, everybody dies. That's a problem. And so that's Dr. Carla. This is your lane. That's why it's not healthy to either way. I mean, just to brag about how much stuff you can take and carry, it's not healthy for men or women. It's just not healthy, in my opinion. So yeah.
So
Aqua.
I keep trying to find reasons to not agree with Walt, but I can't help it. Like, I agree with Walt, but I also got to say this. This would be a different conversation 30 years ago with us. You know what I mean? As I've gotten older, I've come to grips that you can't judge us and our situations and what we can handle the same way. You know, I do believe that men and women were designed to be together because they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I'm gonna be real with you, like, you know, Sharon is saying, you know, talking about Superwoman, and when you said that, I'm thinking right now we're going through stuff in our life, and my old lady is handling business, and I look at her all the time like, yo, I can't take advantage of her, even though it's nice to see. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh snap, I can chill, but I try not to be like, no, let me get through stuff. But she's handling stress like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
But there's situations where we out in public where she would not handle stress like a boss. I'd have to be like, babe, shut up, shut up, just let me handle this, because she would pop off at the mouth. Whereas, like Walt said, a guy knows that, hey, you got to hold the line, because if you step over that line, your whole situation goes down the toilet. You end up in jail. That money that you were supposed to spend on bills, well, now that's going to bail. You know what I mean? It's just all different. So men do have a different type of stress differently than women, and I think they both necessary. But you know what
the double standard is? You know what the double standard is? And Sharon, Christian, you said it, and Mama Jack said it. Mama Jack said, saying I told you so isn't always a good thing. Mm-hmm. So you can express yourself, but not when it comes to me or to her, to you, to my, you see what I'm saying? So that's the dichotomy that men deal with every day. Oh yeah, I agree with 100%. But you know, that's you say that for them. You don't talk to me like that.
Don't say that to me.
Yeah, you know, but if I'm out, but if you want me to handle something, well, tell them this, babe. And Aquafunk, you're absolutely right. Like you say, man, it's like, you know, hold on now, you know, and then, you know, and then at least, you know, I'm gonna need you to bend over, bend down, throw some dirt in the guy's eyes or something, you know, get them off me, you know. But I'm joking. I'm saying that jokingly. But as younger people, we acted differently. But but at this age, it's like, if it ain't worth dying for, if it ain't worth going to jail for, you know what? You're right. I'll stay out your way. I'll stay out your way.
Yep.
I'll just stay out your way, because peace is more important to me, you know? So,
yeah. No. Anyone else want to comment? I mean, I'm seeing the thing. So, Brandon from Palm Beach made a comment. I agree with Aqua. Well, I agree, Aqua. I'm afraid to say it. So I'm going to say Sharon Rand. She's on Facebook, and I'm going to use Sharon on because I'm scared to say the other word. Yeah, I said scared.
You think you know a guy, and then you find out you don't really know the guy.
Yeah. Aqua News Network is out there. Says there's too many of us that don't, and he gave him a house supporter is a man to have a release. So saying we have one. So, you know, sometimes we do. Sharon Jackson made a comment, women can't walk away. But then Frederick Jackson made a comment, what? A man is under pressure 24/7. So you can see the two siblings going at each other and that back and forth going on. Then Shine Dig hit the best one, Walt for president. So I guess Walt.
Oh man, hey man, the man that summer in Cancun, man, I can't do it.
I vote for you. I vote for you. You gotta stay off the golf course though.
Oh man,
be on the golf course all the time on the taxpayer dime. I vote for you.
Oh man, see, let me get the next question before we get out of hand.
What's the next question, man?
I definitely blew the whistle and rang the bell.
Oh man.
All right, so and y'all almost hit this one, so we're gonna throw it out there. So, what's the superpower you think your gender has that the other just can't compete with? So, what's the superpower?
I think we already hit that.
Yeah,
y'all banged that one all out. So
we got one thing though.
No, Dr. Carla has the answer.
Dr. Carla has the answer.
Yes.
Okay, y'all don't put me off the show now.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Wisdom.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wisdom.
Okay.
So women have wisdom that men can't compete with.
Can't compete.
Wow.
Can't compete.
Okay. So I think and this is not gonna get me off the show. This is gonna probably, man, I'm gonna probably get some women on my side on this one. I think the superpower that men have is privilege. I think we have privilege. I'll be the first to admit that as a man. And when I'm talking to people, and when I say that, there's things as a man that I can do and say I'm not judged on, I'm not held accountable for. And if I'm a guy who's not playing fair, I can easily get away with that a woman can't get away with. Right. James Brown said it's a man's world. So, you know, when I always talk about like in this conversation not here, but they run parallel. When you talk about race, the only way you can make people think about race and privilege is you got to think about men. And I think about the stuff that we say as men that goes unchecked, that we would be down in somebody's office fighting if it were our daughter, wives, or mothers. Mm-hmm. That's the piece right there. So as a man, I try to always understand that I have a certain amount of privilege just as being a man, you know, and then I lose it when it comes to me and another man, you know, so we don't know how this thing goes, right? Mm-hmm. Because we've all been, society has already culturally conditioned us to basically pretty much understand where society looks at, how society looks at us. So what I would say the superpower is privilege. And I always take that opportunity to make sure that I protect, and I'm not going to say weaker as in a bad thing. I'm just saying, if it's a bunch of guys around and we're talking and it's a lady present, I see that she's uncomfortable with this. Hey, look, man, I'm going to, because I hate bullies. I'm going to protect this lady here, or this weaker person. It might be a man who might not be in, who might not be in the mix, who might be the outsider. So as men, we just, a bunch of wolves, we're going to figure it out. And sometimes, you just got to figure it out. And sometimes strength is knowing that you don't have all the answers, that you can't fix it all the time, and that you're not the toughest guy. And it ain't on some tough guy stuff. It's just on some respect stuff. Mm-hmm. Because some of the most respectful guys I know, the penitentiary. Because some of those things you can say in the penitentiary will get you killed. Mm-hmm. Like invading somebody's space. Men have these superpowers. So let's use our powers for good and not bad. That's what I think. Yeah, that's our superpower.
No, that was definitely an angle I wasn't even thinking. And then when you said it, it made a lot of sense. So right with that made a lot of sense. It is. You don't realize it because you're looking at it as a man to a man.
Yeah.
But when you look at it on the other side, and it's right.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And I'm only doing a standing 8 count. I'm not actually commenting. Standing 8. Everything all right, Sharon? There, I think you're on a pause.
She froze. Yeah, she froze.
So we can give her time to get back in.
Okay.
Yeah, like she's in the froze. So the best thing to do if you can still hear us is to come off the stage and come back in, Sharon. So yeah. So I'm gonna pull her off. And when she comes back, I'll bring her back in.
There she go. There she go.
She fixed it. There
we
you
good
go.
Now.
You use your superpower. Woo!
Yeah.
IT is her superpower. IT.
So now they gotta agree with Dr. Carla because I've had more other people here that would agree. Come on.
Hey, Jack, you don't think she had to call the man to fix a Wi-Fi, do you?
No. I think she
do it look like
oh,
do much of anything.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man. She got through it, man.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
For how many episodes we had? What, 52 episodes?
52, yeah.
I told you to come out, leave, and come back. You didn't prove me wrong, man.
Oh, man.
No, that was a good one. That was a good one. So let's see.
Yeah, that was.
Excuse me. What's one myth about relationships that you think the other gender needs to stop believing? What's one myth about relationships that you think the other gender needs to stop believing? So what's the myth? Like, stop.
I can't think of a myth. I think all that stuff is true to a point in some shape, form, or fashion. I think everything anybody's ever thought about me as a man has some truth to it. I can't think of a myth that is false about me in a relationship. I really can't.
Okay.
You think we get away from the woman handles the inside of the house and the man handles the outside of the house. I think. Do you think the roles have reversed? Or
I think that's changed. That has definitely changed over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, at one point it was definitely true, 100%. But it's changing. It's changing. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Good dialogue on that one.
I think the myth that I would like to bust is that you're supposed to be happy all the time.
That's good. Yeah.
You know, it's like if you think about like divorce, right? Usually the woman is going to file for divorce. I'm just talking statistics here. Now, Dr. Collar, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm talking statistically and my personal knowledge. And Sharon, I don't want no trouble, but if you got some smoke, bring it my way. I'm okay with it. No, I'm just saying. But like, I don't have any sisters, but I have a lot of women that are friends. And I hear, I'm just not happy. Okay, what is happy? And then they can't define happy. But I know men who are miserable, but they know that they need to provide, take care of, and they're responsible for people. Now, I just think that men will suffer. These are generalities here. So being happy, like, I ain't scared. Took my shoes off. Hey, look, I wear my beer room slippers and the t-shirt everywhere I go. I'm comfortable no matter where I go. But I'm just saying, as far as being happy, it's a myth. Like, you're supposed to always be happy. Life, there's nothing in life. What world do you live in where you're supposed to always be happy? There is no, I mean, there's men, women, children, you know, like half of the stuff that we do as adults, we wouldn't tolerate from our kids. If your kids came and told you that they're just not happy, right? I mean, for my generation, if you don't go outside and go play and do something, go catch a frog, a snake, whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, the myth of being happy, that to me, I just think we've gotten too caught up into that. I mean, I think we need to be respected. I think we need to be understood. And even being respected and understood don't mean you're going to be happy, because everybody's not going to always see things the way you see them.
Yeah.
I think social media has played a huge part in that, because on social media you see everything is all rose and petals and romantic and all that, but behind the scene it's a train wreck. But everybody think that you're supposed to be happy all the time. No, you're not supposed to be happy all the time, but you're supposed to be able to work through your unhappiness.
So if somebody asks me, if a guy's getting married and he say, all right, man, you've been married 30 years, and I always say, yeah, I know a guy that did less time for murder, but that's a joke. But if I say, man, marry a woman that you like on her worst day, that you like on her worst day, because eventually y'all both gonna wake up, your breath's gonna be stinking, y'all not gonna like each other, it's not gonna always be roses, but somebody that you like, someone that you like, someone that understands you, because people who love you, no explanation is necessary, and the people who don't, no explanation is ever acceptable. So you got to marry somebody or be with somebody that you like. And I just think that doesn't mean I'm always going to be happy with that person, you know. And that goes in friendships as well as relationships. I mean, me and Big Jack argue all the time about it. We debate stuff all the time. You know, but that's my man. But the thing is, I walk away knowing that we had an honest conversation, you know? So I'm just saying, like, the thing about being happy, what does happy mean? And then people want to be rich, want to be successful, want to be happy, and can't define it. So until you can define it, you can't expect to be it.
You don't know what it is?
Yeah, you can't define it.
So, Dr. Collar, I'm gonna ask Dr. Collar a question real quick, and before it's a standing A count, so I'm not. I mean, the wedding vows, Dr. Collar. You remember the wedding vows?
No, not off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm just saying, you know, you take this man or just take this woman to be your lawful wedded, you know, for better or for worse, sickness and health, for rich or for poor. So the thing is, we like the one side, but we don't like the or side. We don't never want to hear the or side. You know, if they're sick, they're out. If we're poor, they're out. You know, if it's worse, they're out. So it's like you saying you're going to take this person for both sides, not just for the one side. So like that's why I'm going off of what I'm listening for. Walt was saying it's effective for richer, but what if we poor? And for better, but what if it's worse? Everything is not going to be happy, joy. Sometimes there's the other side of that coin, and you got to be ready that the relationship is not going to fail because we're on the other side of the coin. If you get sick, will that person still be there with you to help you get up or get out of that situation? Because it might happen, and that's part of the relationship. But again, that was a standing 8. Anybody got anything on the question? I
mean, I think that the myth is, and we spoke about this a little bit the last time I was on your show and in my book about love, thinking that love is going to, you just always going to be in love with this person and that love is going to sustain the relationship. And love is a choice every day that we wake up and say, I'm going to love this person. And some days, because we may not like them that day, we may say, well, then I'm not feeling this love today. And so I think the thing that when you hear we in love, that's why they want to get married, because we in love. And they have to realize, people have to realize that love does not sustain a marriage alone. That would be the myth that I would say.
I can't love you till I even know how you fight, how you argue. Do you argue fair? Do you fight fair? I need to know that. Even in a relationship even with friends, before I call somebody a friend, I need to know how it's going to go when it doesn't go your way. Yeah. Right. Before I call you a friend, I mean associates. I believe relationships run the world. But when you're talking about love, you love people not because you like people but you love people in spite of. In my opinion, and and I think that's one of those words. And like you say, I mean, love, like you said, Dr. Carla, love will not sustain you. You got to like somebody. Love will have you come home sitting in the garage, not wanting to go in the daggone house. You know what I mean? If you
sitting outside the house in the car, just looking at the house, just looking at
your music. I hate my life. I mean, that's yeah.
So, all right. Well, I mean, I'm gonna get Aqua in here. So what you got?
I'm listening, right? And I'm over here wondering if there's a cultural difference. I'm Puerto Rican, born in Brooklyn. For me, growing up in a Puerto Rican household, I never assumed that life was going to be happy. Because it was just every day, all day. And I thought that's the way a relationship was. To the point where, honestly, you could ask my old lady right now, she's Puerto Rican. She's the first Puerto Rican, first Latin woman that I ever had a relationship with, because I told myself I won't want to have no part of it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want that for myself. Because if that's what love was, I didn't want it. And that's how you knew you was in love, because you kept coming home to that mess every damn day. But when I was growing up, I had the thought of being happy every day wasn't a thing. And I'm over here listening, being like, when I was growing up, I did not think a relationship was about being happy and smiling all the time. It was always arguing and fussing and fighting and calling each other names. I make a joke about how you just see these wore down Puerto Rican men sitting on top of their porch, in front of their porch, joking. Everybody come by, Puerto Rican men loud, and then the lady come out. He's like, oh, shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. And just I don't know. So I'm just noticing a difference in how I grew up, my mentality and what I'm hearing.
Right. Nah, nothing wrong with that. Sharon, look like you over there. You got something on your mind or no? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right. No problem. So I'm gonna skip through one. Let's see. Now, what's one dating rule that should be officially retired, and what should replace it? Is there a dating rule that should be officially retired, and what should replace it? But I know we said, go ahead, Sharon. I see your hands up.
That the man should pay for everything all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Ding.
I don't have.
And this is how I operate. If we go to the movies, he buy the tickets, I buy the food. Okay. If we go to dinner, he pay for dinner, I leave the tip. I think we have to get away from thinking that the man has to do everything. It has to be 50-50. And, you know, some men may get intimidated by a woman being able to take them out or handle the bill or handle, you know, a situation. That's the problem that I've ran into. You know, men can accept the fact that, hey, I got you. You don't have to pay this time. I got us. They don't like that, or they can't handle that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
A
lot of men want a strong man or strong woman, but till they get one. But I think that's interesting. Go ahead, Aqua Funk. What you got, bro?
So, like, I don't. It's hard for me to hear, you know, the two ladies talk about men being intimidated, because I'm definitely not that. But saying that, I have seen men like that. Personally, with me, first of all, I wouldn't even want to think about dating at my age, because I see my son and I see the apps and all that stuff. I was like, bro, I wouldn't be no good at it. But if I were to go, if I were to be out there again and I found, you know, my own age group and, you know, my own mentality, I would still want to pay, because that's how I grew up. Not because I feel intimidated or anything like that. It's just that's what I learned, and that's what's still in me. Not because I feel a certain type of way. If she want to pay, it's just that's how I was taught. It's not an intimidation thing. It's just that's how I was taught as what a man does when you know, that's our role. That's our lane when we date.
But it goes back to saying that sometimes, you know, even like an independent woman, she will need to take a step back and let the man drive. Just like a man, he doesn't always have to be the head of the household and make all the decisions. Let the woman do it sometime. It has nothing to do with intimidation. It has everything to do with balance. I'm not going to expect my man to be Superman all the time, just like he can expect me to be Superwoman all the time.
In a relationship, I agree with that 100%. But on a first date or the first 2, 3, 4 dates, I still want to kind of, you know what I mean? I still want to kind of play my role like I was taught.
And I agree. On the first date, the man should pay. But if you're working towards a meaningful relationship,
I agree.
Then sometimes it should be a balance. Let me get you this time. You get us this time, you know?
No.
So,
agree.
I got a question for one, the same question, part B, and it's even more simple than paying. As far as you ladies and gentlemen, do you open the doors for your lady? Ladies, do you like a man who opens the door for you? Do you expect the door to be open getting in the car and out the car, or just in the car? How does that work?
Well, for me, I'm always on the go. If you're taking too long to come around and open up the car door for me, I'm getting in the car. Now, if we're going into an establishment, I expect you to open up the door for me. If we're going to the car, I'm not going to stand by the car and wait for you to open up the door, because you made me slow.
Well, hold on. So we're going to the car. Help me understand. We're going to the car together. So I open your door, or do I just go around and slide the keys across the hood to you? What do I do? How does that work?
If you make it to the car at the same time, then yes.
But I got to think to the car.
But I'm not gonna sit there and stand by the door and wait for you to open it.
But if my intentions are to open the door for you, why am I making you stand by the door?
You should get there before me, right?
Yeah.
If I'm saying if we're walking to the car together, and my intent is to open the door for you, I'm there.
And if you're not,
okay. All right. So I see Dr. Carla. Dr. Carla's up there with her. What you got, Dr. Carla? What you got?
Goodness. Okay. The dating rule that I think should be retired is that if the man pays, which I think that you guys should, that you're not going to get anything in return for your
what I'm getting for my investment. I got you.
Oh my God.
You know,
you need to order from the dollar side of the menu. And you get dollar side information.
But I'm gonna call that a myth, not a rule. I don't, you know what I mean? That's not 100% rule. I would definitely say that's a myth.
The rules. Okay, I got you.
A rule.
Now,
Okay.
the
So-
question was rule. The question
So
was
so the myth was all right. So Dr. Carla, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. Sharon, I don't disagree with you. This is where I have my issue right here. And this is I've been out of the dating game for 30 years, longer than that. 33 years I've been out of the dating game. So I know I'm the wrong person. Long time ago. Long time ago. But my thing is, when I hear people talking, when I hear a young lady say, we're going out, is he gonna cash at me to get my nails in my head? Then I'm like, so how are you running around these streets if you're not out on a date? And then he's got to be this, he's got to be that, he's got to do this, he's got to do that. And you don't, what do you bring to the table? As far as Dr. Carla said, as a man, I'm offended. I'm offended that there's still men out there who think because they bought you dinner that they're supposed to have sex with you. That's to me, that's simping 101 in my opinion. Because as men, if you're going to buy somebody something, you're going to buy somebody something. And I tell you something else. When women have these situations where, oh girl, he bought me this, he bought me that, that's nice. That's very nice. But the man was going to spend money anyway because he spend money on his boys if they go to the bar. But you still seeing him February 15th. So how much does he really dig you? You see what I'm saying? So like that opens up a whole nother can of worms as far as the myth goes. And I just think these are conversations that you got to have early, better than late.
So I got one that came up in the comments, and I gotta confirm with Donata's story. It says Aquafunk never opened a car door for me a day in his life.
Hold up. Hey, babe, get out the chat.
Now stay in the chat. Stay in
And I knew she was eventually going to be in there. And when the whole car door stuff, so.
And she loves you. That's okay. She loves you.
But no. But look, wait. I'm gonna tell you this, and I think I'm gonna use this one, and this is another standing account. I honestly believe that I need to secure the place before I allow you to go in there. So I would open up a door and go in and then leave the door open for you to come behind me to make sure it's safe for you to come in before I just open and let you lead the way and something on the other side is harmful to you. So
that's what I was doing.
And I'm saying that's the way I work. I would never clear a building. I won't go in my house. I do all of those things first so that when I open and it's safe, then you can come in behind me. And it's not a disrespect to you. It's just a respectful to you. I want you to be safe. And I will take the hit before you took the hit.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one too.
That's my standing eight. That's my standing eight. Yeah. Look, keep on open that door. Don't check that back seat to see
we were talking car doors. We were talking specifically car doors.
Even the car, somebody might be in the car. Babe, I was doing it for your safety.
Don't even.
That was a good one. That was a good one for you.
I was trying to.
No.
Hey, Aquafunk. Hold on. Hey, look, understand this, man. Your relationship is your relationship.
Yeah. And
that's where it works for you guys.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Yeah.
So with me and Maida, I'm 49. Maida's 6 years, so she's 43. Right.
Probably wasn't supposed to say that on television.
She all right with it. She good for it. She look good for her age. For you know what I'm saying? Like I seen a lot of other. So at any rate, she has grown up younger than me, and I noticed that there are certain things that if I were to do that, she would look at me sideways. Like that's old. That's old. You know what I mean? So moving forward, I just let things happen naturally. And there were things. There's only one thing that she has gotten me on that I never did that was chivalrous. And that's on which side of the sidewalk we walk on.
Oh man. Okay.
That's the one thing she's ever gotten on me that I don't do. And that's because where I grew up, that wasn't a thing. I grew up in Brooklyn for the first 12 years of my life, and the other half was in Virginia, suburbs.
Right.
That really wasn't, they didn't even know sidewalks in Virginia. So it wasn't a thing for me growing up. But she got on me. That's the one thing that she's ever got on me.
Wait a minute. Here we go, because you're getting knocked down again. Not you, but Sharon Sharon, I seen your face when he said the sidewalk thing, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so why the sidewalk? What is the purpose of walking on a certain side of the sidewalk?
Because, like you said, you go inside the building first to make sure that she's taken care of. On the sidewalk, the man has to walk on the outside.
To do what? Why?
To get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Y'all get hit first, and we go get help.
To make sure you're protected. No different than walking in that building. No different than opening up that car.
But I'm old enough to remember. If you're walking down the street with a young lady and you're not walking on the street, an older gentleman will come up and ask you, is your woman for hire?
And that's another reason why, yeah.
I'm old enough to remember that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the woman that you love, you're gonna be walking on the outside, but the woman that you buy
is
for rent, for lack of a better word, is you know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. So I'm old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
But again, there's certain things in life that because we have skipped over that we just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why when young kids go to debutante balls or botillions or cotillions, you know, they learn these things. I mean, that's why I don't care whether you're a gentleman or not. You know, you can go out on a date with a woman right now, or you can go out on a date with a man, ladies. And he may not even, to a formal setting, he might not even know how to start eating.
No. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not taught.
So you may so these are things that you got to teach your kids, because we don't sit down as a family anymore and just everybody at the table. You know, so you gotta set the tables, you know, the fork, the knife, salad fork, your dessert, you know, yada yada yada. I mean, some people have never seen a formal table setting. You know, so these myths, we call them myths that should be stopped, but some of these things are tradition. Like right now, your grandparents or your parents probably have china that nobody in the family even wants. They wouldn't trust your niece with it because they don't even want the china, the formal china. You know, so just little things like we call myths, but some things are for a reason, that we do these things that whether you do them or not, you should know them. You should know why. That's my opinion. So,
okay. So, hey, Aqua, real quick, can you, if you don't mind, say your wife's name? Say her name.
Okay, so the way you would say it is Omaida or Omira. I call her Maida.
Okay.
But she goes by, like, if you have a problem pronouncing, she's fine with Omira. She's fine with that.
Okay,
yeah.
So, but I just wanted to welcome her to the Iron Shop. Now I see she's in the chat, and I didn't want to mess her name up. I'm already on a hit list for Sharon over here. Thank you for being here. And I see Stage Pup is up in the house, and thank y'all for being here today. Yes.
She threw Aquafunk under the bus, so you know.
I know, right? She always do that.
Yeah. So without
telling my business out there. I got a persona I'm trying to uphold, and she cut me down at the legs on public.
Yeah, she cut you at the knees.
Nah, it's all good. Look, and I know she did it out of love, and I'm glad that she is supporting you, because that's what it's all about right there. So it's good to say, you know, it's a fun conversation. So I got one more question for y'all, and again, thanking you all for being here today, and hoping we did learn something. I did. It's been fun for sure. So let me see if I can get one more. Let's settle this once and for all. Who's really better at multitasking, men or women? Now, I don't believe there's a such thing as multitasking. So you're switch tasking, and you switch tasks very fast. So you're not multitasking. Even a computer can't multitask. It's a switch task. But who's really better at switch tasking, men or women? And I'm gonna go with Dr. Carla up there real quick. And so we don't want to cut Dr. Carla out. So who's better?
Yeah, I think women probably are better, because men tend to, from what I observe, especially with my husband, tend to be focused on the task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would definitely say women.
Okay. All right. That's I'm going to go with you, Sharon. What you got?
Look, in my experience, it's the woman.
Okay.
We're able to cook and clean, work, be a mother, be a wife. be a friend, and not drop the ball. Y'all have dropped 2 or 3 balls. It's
Yeah.
we're able to juggle them all.
But that one ball we got is good though. That one is real good.
See,
Just one out of 10.
but Jack, what did you say you call it? Switching what?
Switch tasking.
So basically, that means you got more incomplete task. So I don't disagree with you, both of you. I think women definitely multitask more because men prioritize more, because everything that's important doesn't mean it's urgent. So as men, I think we just prioritize things differently. And women definitely, hey, look, ain't no doubt, but understand this. That one string fiddle got to play. You can go to Carnegie Hall. But like it doesn't do any good to be able to multitask or switch tasks better than anybody else and then sit there and make the house pay for it because you're working so hard. Because that I'm gonna do it myself thing is a real thing when it comes to women. No, with men, no, you're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna teach you how to fish because you're gonna stop asking me for fish. And I'm talking generalities here. I'm talking in general. There we go. Here we go. I got her. So, but women are gonna be like, just get out the way. I'll do it myself. I'm like, no. When is he gonna learn how to do something if you keep jumping in, doing everything? And I mean, this goes back to childhood. Like I knew when I woke up Saturday morning, and heard Al Green playing, I wasn't leaving the house till it was clean. Period.
It was clean.
That was it. I don't care who's out front waiting for me to come play, throw up football, the murder ball, whatever you want to call it. That's what it was. I get that. So what I'm saying is you have to teach people how you want to be treated, how you want things done. Like it's just amazing to me right now to see a kid throw his dishes in the sink and expect for the superwoman to get it up. And then she'll sit there and do it and complain about it and won't call the kid back in there to put his damn wash his own dish. That's crazy to me. Because what you're doing is raising a man to be that person. And then you sit there, not you, but then people sit there and complain about these men, yada, yada, yada. But it's women every day raising them because they see how to be treated. They see how, hey, look, and the things that you say your son or daughter should do, you wouldn't even tolerate from another person. So, yeah, so multitasking, y'all got it.
Okay. Okay. Look, very, 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 very good points. I mean, one of my things is I think that there's a lot of tasks that's being done that we had another standing A count that a lot of women are not seeing both ways. Because I'd see, like I say, you just had a whole list of stuff that was going on that you said, I did this, 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 and I'm not even arguing that. You're right. It knocks it out the park. When my wife says that, get out the way, I'll do it. I get out the way and watch. I'm like, hey, okay. I got this one belief. Like if I wasn't here, could you get it done? Of course, I can get it done. Then act like I'm not here. Because, I mean, we could do it together, and that's a good thing. But if I'm not here, could you still get it done? So I can't be always going to pick and doing this because if I'm not here. So that's what I really love about my wife. She can do it. But the other part is the safety and the security and those other things that's being done that you're not even watching that's being done, because those ears are open, those eyes are watching, you making sure that the house is still safe, nobody's coming up there, and all of those things that's being done that you're like, yeah, I could do that myself, until somebody knock at the door that you don't know, and then you're like, go see who that is, or until somebody trying to break it, go get that, or I just heard a noise. It's like, oh yeah, I know you can do all this, but you can do that. And I'm not saying that a woman wouldn't do it. I'm not saying that a man wouldn't do it. I'm just saying you always watching. So like we go to a restaurant, and we're going to multitasking in the house is one thing, but we're in a restaurant. I will not sit with my back to the door. I will not sit with my back to the door because I have to watch everything that's going on in that restaurant. And it's hard to even eat your meal when you're doing this. You're always looking at who's coming in, what's going on, and you're doing that. And that's, anyway, go ahead, Walt. You're muted. Somehow you're muted. It's not working. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not shooting down. I love everybody.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
The independent woman in the group. when you walk into the room to the restaurant, right? You just heard the man say, I love Dr. Carla, she just set up. You hear the man say, you just heard the man say he wants his back to the door. Where are you sitting? I mean, does not want his back to the door. Excuse me. I'm the same way. Where are you sitting? And then when you go to try to sit in the seat that you think is nice, but it puts his back at the door, and he says to you, hold on now. Because as men, on the first date, back to Aquafunk, on the first date, we notice that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so wait a minute. And then, well, what's the big deal? That right there to a man, it's like, okay, you're just taking mental notes. Just like to a woman, you're taking mental notes on certain things. Does he sit down before you? Those types of things. Does he help you? Does he pull your chair out when you're getting out the car? Does he open your door so you can go into the establishment, like you mentioned earlier? So we all have these things. Yeah. But what was your response be to that? Independent woman?
If I go out on a date and he doesn't say, hey, I don't want to sit with my back to the door, that's a mental note for me that this man does not have my best interest at heart.
Okay, so as a woman, you're not going for that seat. Is that correct?
I'm not. No, I'm gonna let him be a man. But if he's not smart enough to say, hey, I don't want my back to the door, this is not the man for me.
Oh,
gotcha.
Yeah, I love what I'm saying. Omar is saying down there, Aquafunk always sits facing the door. I mean, that's try to pump him up now because of that open.
No.
That one right.
If I gotta call 5 people to come, let's get busy. You one of the people I'm calling, bro, for sure.
All right, that's
100%.
In Arkansas is here, and thank you for being here. I see Sean Digg. It's a mutual respect and communication, regardless of sex. So mutual respect and communication is key. Yes. So thank you. Go ahead, Aqua. You had something to say?
No, and like I was saying, like we're talking about all this stuff here. You're hearing perspectives, and I'm assuming I'm like on the young spectrum of the panel right now. And I just am catching the bottom end of the generation before all this just stopped. Like my son, they don't do none of this stuff. You know what I mean? I really wish that a lot of the younger cats could get a grasp, because I see it all the time of how none of this is being implemented in the relationships that are going on today. And like I said, I wouldn't know what to do if I was single. I would just give up because I wouldn't want no part of what's going on now. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with who I got. You know what I'm saying? We match, we rock. So I wouldn't even. I wish more younger people would watch stuff like this from people of our age and stuff like that, because. It's just I got a 26-year-old son is why I'm saying. I got a 12-year-old daughter, so I worry about what it's going to be. I don't know what to do when my 12-year-old daughter brings a boy to the house, because I know, like, I'm looking at the caliber of males that are coming up, and what I'm supposed to do. What I'm supposed to do.
So my daughter, when she started dating, I'll never forget this. She started dating, and the guy comes in. Well, first of all, as men, I tell my daughter this, and most men understand this. There's 2 types of women in the world. There's a woman that you're going to go to her house, meet her parents, take her out, and bring her home at a respectable time. And then there's a woman that you're going to pick up after you drop her off. That's just life, right? So you got to decide as a woman who you want to be. I had that conversation with her. But one day, guy comes in, yada, yada, yada. They go outside. I'm at the door, and he doesn't open her car door. He walks around. She turns around, looks at me, and she just walks back in the house. And he's like, what just happened? I'm like, so let me get this straight. So I had that conversation with him, right? And then I made fun of it. And I can't even say it no more without being, it was a Cosby Show moment, but I know Bill Cosby did what he did. I get it. But it was one of those situations where I brought the young man in and explained to him what I expected. Just like when I picked him up from the concert and it was raining and they ran to the car and he jumped in the car and while she was outside the car. And I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? You know, but I had made it a joke, had a conversation. And so my daughter's 43 years old. We still joke about that to this day. Because those were one of those things, and I wasn't being mean to the guy, and I'm sure he probably always remembers it. But those things, to me, we, as whether we want to know it or not, as the elders, and we got to, and there's things that we still talk to our elders about that we don't understand or that we never knew why. And here's the difference. With social media, there are things that you can't, there are things on because of social media that you don't get the explanation of. You just see things happen. So we just do these things because they get shares and likes. And then that creates the new future. So yeah.
Piggyback on what Aquafunk said. My son is 33. I'm 57. Okay. So there are things that I still tell him today as a man what he should and shouldn't do. My daughter is 19. I tell her what she should and shouldn't do as a woman. We as elders have to educate the YNs is the new term.
Yeah, I got it.
On, you know, what's going on, what they need to do to be a respectable man and woman. So, you know, I tell them all the time, you don't do this, you don't do that, you know.
But you gotta tell them why, because you can't hold somebody accountable for something that they don't know why.
Right. You always give them a why, because if they don't know why, then they don't understand why they need to do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So it's good conversation, and Aqua, you're right. I hope, and so panels like this, and mixing up who's on the panel and having these type of discussions, I think is going to help a lot down the road. I appreciate Omara being in the chat, and she's talking about y'all dating experiences now. So you had to check out the chat. It's like she's like, after she met you was about 20 years ago. They told me the first time we went out like 20 years ago, I had that mental note for sure. Said never dated again. So there it is. I would never date again. So there
she ain't even like me when she first met me.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hate to cut you guys off, but I have an event to drop off. It was good. It was fun. Hopefully you guys invite me back again, because I still have some stuff I need. Aquafunk and Walk Talk. Hey, we're gonna rumble with them, Dr. Carla, okay?
Hey, Siobhan, 1 second, because we getting right in the show anyway. So we thank everybody for coming out. Thank you for hanging out with us. We had a good time on the Battle of the Sexes, if you wanted to call it that. Dr. Carla, I thank you. Aquafunk, thank you. Sharon, Christian, thank you for being here. Walk Talks, thank you. We'll see y'all next time for sure. If everybody can hang on real quick, and we'll talk to you later. And thank you for here. Make sure you come out Saturday for the We Be Jamming Live. And then Sunday, we'll be here for a Gentleman's Journal. So check us out. We'll be here. So thank you all, and have a good night.
All right. Good night, guys.
Everybody.
Everyone.